What if the secret to building wealth was hiding in your utility closet this whole time? Here's the truth most people miss. The genuinely wealthy aren't blowing cash on status symbols. A 2019 WealthX report found that 68% of ultra-high net worth individuals describe themselves as frugal in daily life. Small savings, repeated daily, compound into serious money over decades. That's not motivational fluff. That's arithmetic. And it starts with 7 objects the wealthy rely on, objects available to most households, but rarely used to their full financial potential. Object 1. The programmable thermostat. It controls your heating and cooling on a schedule you set once. Most Americans still use manual thermostats, leaving money bleeding out through the vents every single day. The U.S. Department of Energy confirmed in 2022 that a properly programmed thermostat saves homeowners up to 10% annually on heating and cooling. On a $2,400 per year energy bill, that's $240 back in your pocket without lifting a finger. But here's where it gets counterintuitive. Nest Labs published internal usage data in 2015, and they were transparent that it came from their own devices, showing that many owners override their smart thermostats manually so often they erase most of the savings. Even the manufacturer flagged it. The object works. Human behavior is the variable. Object 2. LED light bulbs. Not glamorous, but in their 2010 book, Spend Till the End, economists Lawrence Kotlikoff and Scott Burns documented that high-net-worth households consistently prioritize low-cost recurring efficiency over visible status spending. A light bulb is exactly the invisible win they were describing. The U.S. Energy Information Administration reported in 2023 that LEDs use 75% less energy than incandescent bulbs and last 25 times longer. Replacing 30 bulbs in a home saves roughly $225 annually, every year, quietly, in the background. Object 3. The insulated water bottle and thermos. This one targets the most quietly devastating wealth leak most people carry. The daily coffee and bottled water habit that drains a checking account one small purchase at a time. Nielsen IQ data from 2022 found the average American spends $1,100 per year on takeout coffee alone. Add bottled water at roughly $400 annually, and you're looking at $1,500 a year on liquids you could make or filter at home for under $50. Here's the counterintuitive part. It's not that wealthy people can't afford the $6 latte. It's that they've internalized a documented pattern. Thomas Stanley and William Dango, in their 1996 book, The Millionaire Next Door, found that self-made millionaires systematically avoid paying premium prices for commodity products on a recurring basis. That mindset, Stanley and Danko argued, is the actual asset. Object 4. The electric bike. This one surprises people. But in cities from Amsterdam to Austin, high earners are ditching second cars for e-bikes. Not because they can't afford the car, because the math makes the car look ridiculous. AAA's 2023 annual driving cost report put the average cost of owning a second vehicle at $10,728 per year. A quality e-bike runs $1,500 to $3,000 upfront, with annual maintenance under $200. That's a net saving of $10,528 per year. The gap isn't small, it's enormous. Stack the e-bike savings of $10,528 against the thermostat's $240 and LED's $225, and you're already past $11,000 per year redirected. But here's the question nobody asks. What about the costs hiding inside your walls and your grocery bill that don't show up on any single receipt? Object 5. The home water filtration system. A countertop or under-sink filter costs between $50 and $300 upfront. It replaces the bottled water habit entirely, and the filtration quality often exceeds what you're buying in plastic bottles anyway. The Pacific Institute calculated in 2021 that producing a single plastic water bottle requires 3 times its volume in water just to manufacture. You're paying a premium for a product that costs the planet more than it costs the company to make. Here's what most people never calculate. At $400 per year on bottled water, over 20 years that's $8,000 spent, not counting inflation. Invested at a modest 7% return, that same $8,000 becomes over $30,000. A water filter is an investment vehicle in disguise. Object 6. Smart power strips. Most people have no idea their electronics burn electricity 24 hours a day, even when switched off. The energy industry calls this phantom load, and it's costing American households real money every single month. Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory published findings in 2020 showing that phantom load accounts for roughly 10% of a typical household's electricity bill. On a $1,500 annual electricity bill, that's $150 vanishing into devices that aren't even on. A smart power strip with occupancy sensing or master outlet control cuts that phantom load automatically. A quality strip costs $30 to $60. It pays for itself in under 6 months, then earns you $150 per year indefinitely after that. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people know phantom load exists. They just don't act on it because $150 doesn't feel urgent. That's exactly the psychology separating the quietly wealthy from the perpetually broke flexor. Urgency isn't the point. Systems are. Object 7. The standalone chest freezer, a stealth wealth classic. High-income households disproportionately own chest freezers, not because they're survivalists, but because buying in bulk and freezing is one of the highest return grocery strategies available. The USDA Economic Research Service reported in 2022 that buying meat in bulk when on sale and freezing it reduces per-unit food costs by 20 to 40%. A family spending $8,000 annually on groceries could realistically save $1,600 to $3,200 per year with this single habit. A quality chest freezer costs $200 to $500 and runs about $30 to $50 per year in electricity. Against potential savings of $1,600 annually, the payback period is measured in months, not years. The wealthy didn't build net worth by ignoring 30-to-1 return ratios. Here's the twist. A 2021 Statista survey found chest freezer ownership is highest among households earning over $100,000 annually. The upper class aren't embarrassed by a freezer in the garage. The broke flexors are, and that embarrassment has a price tag. Stack all 7 objects together. Programmable thermostat, $240. LEDs, $225. Insulated bottles, $1,500. E-bike replacing a second car, $10,528. Water filter, $400. Smart power strip, $150. Chest freezer, $1,600. Total annual savings, over $14,600. That's more than the median American household saves in an entire year, according to the Federal Reserve's 2022 survey of consumer finances. Now invest that $14,600 annually at a 7% average market return. In 20 years, that becomes over $755,000. 7 household objects, 20 years, $750,000. That's not a coincidence. That's a system. Consider what this looks like in practice. Ronald Reed, a Vermont gas station attendant and janitor who died in 2014, left an $8 million estate. His financial advisor told the Associated Press that Reed kept his heating costs low, avoided unnecessary recurring expenses, and invested the difference consistently for decades. He didn't earn more, he systematically spent less on the same categories this video covers. Here's what makes this actionable at every income level. You don't need all 7 at once. Start with LEDs and a smart power strip for under $100 total. That's your first system. Stanley and Danko's research in The Millionaire Next Door found that the habit of optimizing small recurring costs, not income level, was the strongest predictor of household net worth accumulation. Stack from there. Remember that question at the start about the secret hiding in your utility closet? It wasn't a metaphor. It was literally true. The programmable thermostat, the LED bulbs, the smart power strip, they were there the whole time. And that 68% frugality statistic from WealthX, this is what it looks like in practice. Most people just never looked at these objects like money. Pick one object from this list, install it this week, and track what it saves over 12 months. Because that $755,000 projection doesn't start with a windfall. It starts with a thermostat setting and a light bulb running quietly in the background, compounding while you sleep.